Hey everyone, Chris here from Pechanga Arena San Diego, continuing to adhere to the stay-at-home order. I am joining you from my newly created studio here in my garage, and joining us now is Todd Lane, the president and CEO of longtime arena partner Cal Coast Credit Union. Todd, thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be here, Chris. I hope you're doing well.
This is something I gotta thank you about. This is the first time I've worn a collared shirt in more than a month.
I hear you. I'm the same way. I've been, dressing as I would on a weekend. I think I've wore a suit one time in the past month, and I had to do a press conference with the mayor the other day, and that was the time I wore that suit. It was weird. I almost forgot how to tie a tie.
Yeah. I think that's going to happen for a lot of folks, but I know eventually things are going to return to normal, but I want to kind of go back a few weeks. It seems like so long ago that all this started, but I know everybody's work sort of changed. But one thing that has to remain the same is and constant, of course, is banking and people's funds. So when all this happened, how did you guys go to work?
Well, first of all, we know that we're a critical business. You know, any financial institution, bank or credit union is considered a critical business, an essential business. So we knew that we were going to remain open, and access to people's money during crisis, during a pandemic is very important. When you stop giving people access to their money, they get very upset, and it causes more anxiety and more stress. So we knew that we had to stay open. So we have what's called both a front office, which is our branches, and a back office. So everybody that supports the branches, including our call center. So we have 26 branches in San Diego and Riverside County. All of them remain open with the exception of one. We have a small branch on the campus of San Diego State University. But every other branch remains open, even today. So we had to make sure that we kept them open in the beginning, which is over a month ago now, and they remain open today. So that was job number one. Also, sort of 1A was all of our back office staff. So we're based here in Kearney Mesa, and we have both the call center and what we call our Spectrum facility, which is all of our back office staff, which is actually where I'm working today at. And we had to move as many of those employees to a remote status as quickly as possible. So that was job number one, was getting everybody remote, keeping our branches open, and then making sure that we kept both our members safe, our customers that come into our branches, and making sure our employees are safe as well. So that was sort of our first, reaction. And like I said, that was about a month ago. So it seems like a lifetime ago, Chris.
It really does. And, all of us have had to adapt so quickly. So, pat on the back for getting on the train so quickly. And, you touched on your members, customers. I want to talk more about that and communication to them, and how to make them feel comfortable banking during these times.
Yeah, so several things. The first thing that we need to make sure that they understood was our financial strength. And specifically during a crisis like this and during a recession, members are interested in your liquidity. Do you have the cash available when they come in and want cash? And that's what the immediate sort of reaction was. We had members coming in to our branches. We had members going to ATMs, and they wanted some cash, some dollar bills. And, the debit card and credit card is a great thing to have, but people during a crisis want to hold some cash. And so having the liquidity and not limiting what we would give them is the important thing. And we didn't limit it. We gave them the cash that they needed. And then we rolled out right away our emergency loan program. And we've done this before. We did it during the federal government shutdown. And these are special loans in an emergency situation for our members. and they're typically small dollar loans. They need, if they've been laid off or they're not working as much, perhaps they work in the service industry, they needed cash to put groceries on the table and to perhaps even make other payments, that sort of thing, maybe a rent payment. And so we did a lot, and we continue today, Chris, to do a lot of what are called emergency loans. So you got to have the financial strength to be able to do these sort of things.
The other thing too, as you touched on, was personal banking and cash, and just like getting into the nitty gritty of things. I can tell you during a crisis like this, a health crisis, for me, a debit card is kind of what I'm using because I can take that home and sanitize it, all these types of things. So just talk to me about personal banking and best practices.
Yeah, well, Chris, that's a great point. And I've been trying to tell our membership and tell anybody who will listen, it's better to use that debit card than it is cash. Cash is not cleaned. It goes from hand to hand, and it's not sanitized every time it changes hands. So you control that debit card, you control that credit card, and you can clean it with hand sanitizer or disinfectant wipe, that sort of thing.
Sure.
And so that's an important point. We have been really trying to help our members understand how to do things like that, how to use your debit card, how to use mobile and home banking. And I was looking at the stats today. Our members are doing more of their transaction banking online and via the mobile device more than they ever have. I mean, the growth numbers are exponential.
I wanted to talk about, unfortunate part of all this is scams. And I can tell you that on the entertainment business side, I can tell you that there are a lot of scams going around to people who hold tickets, people with nefarious ideas, send out emails letting people know to click on this link to receive your refund for this or that. And then all of a sudden, everybody wants the banking information, who's on this nefarious side, So talk to me about scams and what you guys are seeing and how to, I guess, sort of protect yourself.
Yeah, so Chris, it started right away. I mean, at the very beginning of this pandemic, of this crisis, and you can expect it all. That we knew it was going to happen, and it happened right away. And just what you said, they're trying ultimately to get your credentials, your banking credentials, your credit union credentials, to separate you from your money. That's what they want to do ultimately. And now the focus is on the stimulus payments. So it went through a phase where they were trying to say that they could get you, PPE, they could get you mask or hand sanitizer or even toilet paper when it really wasn't that readily available in the beginning. And again, they were trying to get you to click on a link and that sort of thing, and the malware was coming your way. So, so it's evolved, and now it's, now stimulus payments are coming out. We're seeing, just yesterday, we saw millions of dollars come into California Coast from our membership that are receiving the stimulus payments. But a week or two ago, the fraudsters were trying to tell people via email that, hey, we can get you your money faster. We can get it to you right now. And they want you to click on a link to do it. So the best advice is, if it's too good to be true, it is not true.
Yes, good advice. I guess through every crisis we always see, unfortunately the bad side of people coming out, but also, the very good side of people in the community. And I know from, on your perspective, there's information on your website, for your members. Tell us how we can find you.
Yeah, so it's www.calcoastcu.org. So calcoastcu.org. We have a COVID-19 page, which is right up front, and it has all of the things that we're doing. I mentioned some of them, the emergency loans. We're waiving fees. We're deferring payments, both mortgage payments and consumer payments for 90 days, and we're doing that automatically. We're helping out our employees. That information's on there. What we're doing for our employees. We got to help our people that work so hard for us. And so we bumped their pay. We're paying their medical premiums, those sort of things. And then most recently, Chris, we added our new partnership with the city of San Diego and San Diego Grant Makers. And we are managing the fund, the grant fund for the small businesses with the city of San Diego and San Diego Grant Makers. And we kicked it off with the seed donation of $100,000. And this is money that's going directly to the small businesses in our city. California Coast at one time, Chris, was a small business. We were started by 3 educators back in 1929. And so we were a small business for many, many years. And we feel an obligation to support our small businesses today in our community, help them thrive. We were able to grow with the growth of San Diego and our community. They ought to have that same opportunity. So that's our newest thing, and that's also on that webpage.
Well, I appreciate it. I thank you what you're doing currently. I also really do want to thank you for what you do for the entertainment community, the sports community here in San Diego through your sponsorships, and I want you to stay safe and know that we appreciate you.
And you too, Chris. We love Pechanga. What an awesome organization. What an awesome facility. And you guys have been so great to us. So great partner. And so we look forward to it. And thank you for the opportunity to talk a little bit about what we're doing.
Great. Thanks, Todd.
Thank you, Chris.